Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. How are you today? Alhamdulillah. Well, before starting the learning, we should pray first. Pray together. Start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Raditu billahi robba wa bil islami dina wa bi muhammadin nabiyya wa rasula rabbi zidni ilma warzuqni fahma amin. Okay, I believe that you have been ready with your equipment that can support our learning today. So, are you ready study now? Okay, great. Well, let me check the attendance first. No one. Is it missing, right? Okay, good. Thank you. So, today we will study matter about Newton's law of gravitation. We will know what gravity is and how it works on our Earth. Well, let's start together. Okay. In the late 1600s, Sir Isaac Newton came up with the law of gravity, which is also known as the universal law of gravitation. Sir Isaac Newton's inspiration for deducing the revolutionary law of gravity was an apple falling from a tree. We are all pretty familiar with the story of Newton and how he discovered gravity. The falling of an apple made him discover what is Newton's gravity and the law of gravitation. Newton's law of gravity plays an important role in mechanics. Newton had a simple question out of curiosity in why an apple was falling instead of either sideways or upward. Later, Newton realized that the earth must be responsible for the apple to fall downward perpendicular to the ground. This was the major turning point, and then he developed the law of gravity. So, what is Newton's law of gravity? The law of gravity is an important discovery in the field of physics. It gives an insight into the relationship between mass and force. The law of gravitation states that every object in the universe attracts every other object such that the force exerted will be proportional to the product of the mass and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. According to Newton's law of gravity is 2 points. The first point, the magnitude of the force acting between 2 point mass is directly proportional to the product of their mass. And point 2, the magnitude of the force acting between 2 point mass decreases rapidly as distance increases. In mathematically, we word the law of gravity is it. Consider two objects having mass m1 and m2 sparked by a distance r, as shown in the picture. According to the statement of the law of gravitation, the magnitude of the force acting on the body is directly proportional to the product of the mass of interacting bodies. Then we get F alpha m1 m2. Equation 1. Also, the magnitude of the force acting between two objects is changing rapidly with increased distance. Then Newton gave a standard value that the force is inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. F alpha 1 per r squared. Then her regionalized both statement by combination equation 1 and 2. Is it? Is it F alpha m1 m2 per r squared? This is equation 2 and this is equation 3. Nah, equation 3 is rearranged by removing proportionality and replaces in it with a constant now of as gravitational constant. Is it in Newton law of gravity? Newton law of gravity, where m1 is the mass of the first object, m2 is the mass of the second object, are the distance between two objects, g is the universal gravitational constant. The value of the gravitational constant is found to be g is 6.673 x 1011 Newton meter squared per kilogram squared. In equation 4 is now as the mathematical form of Newton's law of gravitation or the law of gravitation force. From equation 4, we find that the force acting on Earth's order will be directly proportional to the product of point mass and inversely proportional square of the distance between them. It's also known as the inverse force law. In some articles, it is also referred to as the first law of gravity. The gravitational force acting between two objects is only due to their mass. The gravitational force is one of the four basic forces of physics. Sometimes it is also referred to as Newton's gravity or Newton's gravity. The gravitational force is valid throughout the universe. For significant gravitational force, one among the two objects must be less than the other. Characteristic of gravitational force is it. 5 point of characteristic of gravitational force. The first is gravitational force is always attractive and is directed along with the line joining of two interacting bodies. And second, the gravitational force is independent of the medium and the surrounding environment. And third, the gravitational force is valid for long distance like the distance between two planets and for short distance like interatomic distance. And for the force of gravitation is conservative, thus the work done gravitational force will be zero. And then the 5, if a particle is acted by n particle, then the net force exerted on it will be equal to the vector sum of the force due to surrounding particle. Nah, it is equation F net sigma n Fi, where Fi is the force acted on the object by its particle. By e particle. Okay, thank you. Basic learning today has been complete. The signs that we get blessing and benefit for all of us. Sorry if in learning this is a wrong word. Thank you for attention. I ended this class. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.